If you've ever seen this show before, you've probably guessed that I've seen a lot of old monster movies. Some of them I rented from the video store, sure, but in a lot of cases I saw these movies on cable channels like TBS and TNT, back when they actually used to show movies like that. Back in the 90s, you could actually get a pretty good monster movie education if you had a decent cable package and were willing to stay up past 3 a.m. And if, like me, you also grew up watching monster movies on cable, then you're probably familiar with this little B-movie TV staple, The Last Dinosaur. The Last Dinosaur is an American-Japanese co-production from the 70s, with the US supplying most of the cast, led by a bloated and cranky Richard Boone, and the Japanese taking care of the stuntmen in big rubber monster suits. Apparently the movie was originally supposed to be released in theaters, but after the producers saw the end product, they decided to premiere it as a TV movie instead. And television is where it would stay, because when I was a kid, I swear this movie seemed like it was on TV every week. I guess Ted Turner must have had some sort of weird fetish for this movie and the Beastmaster. Alright, I should probably get to the movie at this point. Richard Boone plays Maston Thrust, and although his name would indicate that he works in the adult film industry, he's actually a super rich oil tycoon. So how rich is he? Well, you see that room with the fireplace and all the stuffed animals in his house? Well, surprise! It's actually in his plane. Yeah, he's so rich he actually put a fireplace in his private plane. I don't really know how that would work. I don't see a chimney anywhere when they show the outside of it, but whatever. I guess he's so rich he doesn't need things like proper ventilation. Anyways, you could probably tell by all the stuffed and mounted animals in there, Maston loves to shoot things. A fact he makes abundantly clear to his, I don't know, rich guy groupie, I guess.
They have got a thing over there called Loch Ness Monster. They haven't found it yet, but it's already on the endangered species.
Why do I get the feeling Richard Boone copping a feel wasn't in the script? Anyway, he decides to go to the cockpit and leaves his lady friend with a scrapbook that leads us into the opening credits, which like a lot of 70s movies is accompanied by a heartfelt ballad. Only this one's about a dinosaur.
His time has passed. There are no more. He is the last dinosaur.
The scrapbook serves as handy exposition about Maston's character, which basically boils down to he likes to shoot things. It's basically his only defining characteristic in this movie. Oh, by the way, my favorite part? When she comes across an article about Maston threatening one of his ex-wives at gunpoint, yeah, she just laughs. Yeah, you're right, lady. Domestic violence is funny. Anyway, Maston's on his way to Japan to hold a press conference regarding the disappearance of a drilling crew.
All right, we have it. Now!
Hey, there's some of that legendary charisma that helped make him one of the world's richest men.
Now!
While exploring for oil in the polar ice caps, the crew of an experimental drilling machine found a tropical area inside a dormant volcano filled with all sorts of prehistoric creatures. Sadly, there was no sign of Doug McClure. The only surviving crew member, Chuck, says that the rest of the crew was killed by a T-Rex, and Maston now wants to mount an expedition to find it, using an invention called the, thrust borer. Why do I get the feeling the concept for that started out as a vibrator?
Sir, do you intend to kill that animal?
No, I don't intend to kill that animal.
He totally intends to kill that animal. For the expedition, Maston says he'll be taking Chuck, a scientist, Dr. Kawamoto, and an African tracker called Bunta. Remember, he's totally not gonna hunt the T-Rex. He also says he'll be taking a member of the press along, too.
This is Francesca Banks. She's the press representative who's going along with you.
Crazy? No woman going on this trip. Now, I've been going on safari most of my life. I have never taken a woman, and I'm not gonna change now. Barney.
What a dick.
But despite Maston's objections, Frankie is determined to go along, because she is a strong, independent, modern woman.
My father was a great believer in the woman's place. Now, I've heard all this before. My father thinks that I could run for president now.
And if you guess that she spends the entire rest of the movie getting into trouble and the men have to constantly save her, you'd be correct. Frankie crashes a party Maston's holding and manages to charm him into giving her a second chance by showing her credentials. And by showing her credentials, I mean doing a striptease in front of him and flirting with him.
Why don't you come up and see my pictures, big boy?
Now that is W.C. Fields, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think that was actually supposed to be Mae West, but whatever. Frankie takes Maston to her apartment and secures her place on Maston's expedition by sleeping with him. You see, ladies, if at first you don't succeed, just screw your way to the top. Seriously though, any woman willing to sleep with Richard Boone should get a lot more than just an opportunity to go dinosaur watching. Look at him, the guy's dick has got to look like a tortoise's neck by now. So, with her place on the expedition secure, Frankie suits up and prepares to go with them.
I really don't know how you talk the old man into it.
Talent.
Now I know why they call him Thrust. Anyway, they all get into the borer and start to drill their way into the lost world. Hey, there's your first taste of what the dinosaurs in this movie are going to be like. Hope you're ready, people. So they get out of the Thrust borer. Seriously, just saying that makes me feel dirty. And no sooner have they gotten ashore when they hear the pitter-patter of giant prehistoric feet.
Horny ridges and sharp tusks? That is one of the Ceratopsians.
Frankie shows off the skills that made her a world-class photographer by standing directly in the creature's way and almost getting herself killed.
You are a crazy lady.
I would have been okay. I'm a modern woman.
So they set up camp, but little do they know they're being watched.
Do you see that tree? That is a Cretaceous cyad tree. That was thought to be extinct millions of years ago.
Wow! You mean to tell me that in this lost world filled with dinosaurs and extinct monsters that there's actually a prehistoric tree too? That's amazing! Oh, look, Frankie was taking pictures and got in trouble again. What a surprise.
I can take turtles as big as bathtubs and even dinosaurs. Leeches.
And I swear if I see a spider, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Frankie ends up leaving her purse, and a cave woman picks it up and takes it because, hey, I guess cave women need something to carry their chapstick in too. While looking for the T-Rex, Bunta climbs a tree to get a better view and finds the T-Rex, standing right beside him. I guess it must be a stealth T-Rex. Also, is it just me, or does it kind of sound like Godzilla? They run away from the T-Rex, but soon find themselves trapped by a tiny stream.
How fast can that thing move?
An estimated 4 miles an hour?
4 miles an hour? Come on, Chuck, didn't you see Jurassic Park?
Must go faster.
So because running away would require Maston to go into a light jog and possibly risk breaking a sweat, he decides to stand his ground and shoot it.
Stand still!
Stand still? It's huge! Besides, it's barely moving at all. What do you need, a bullseye on its chest?
Bunta, the damn thing is jammed!
You know, for a supposed master hunter, he kinda sucks at this. Well, since it's jammed, I guess you'll have to run for now and then fix it later, or just throw away your only firearm in a savage land filled with dinosaurs. You know, both options have their good points. Bunta manages to spear it, thus getting rid of their only other weapon, and this manages to get the T-Rex to piss off.
If you hadn't yelled back there and spoiled my first shot, we would have had it!
You told me. You swore to all of us that we were not gonna harm the dinosaur.
You ding-dong!
Oh man, I fucking love that line. Give it to me again.
You ding-dong!
Oh, that is awesome. Thanks, me in the future editing this. No problem. By the way, you got that $5 you owe me? Thank you. So anyway. So yeah, it turns out the guy obsessed with hunting wants to hunt the dinosaur. I know, I didn't see it coming either. They make their way back to camp, but the T-Rex gets there first and kills Dr. Kawamoto. You know, for an 8-ton dinosaur, he's really good at sneaking up on people. The T-Rex then proceeds to take the boar back to its lair because, it likes shiny things? And this leads to what is easily the weirdest part in the whole movie. Watch this. What the hell? Did you see that? A Triceratops just came out of the side of a mountain. How did it get there? What was it doing? How is it even still alive? Was it waiting for the T-Rex? If it was, why would it even do such a thing? I'm sorry, but my mind is full of questions right now, and I know this movie isn't going to answer any of them. Okay, so the Triceratops that was inexplicably buried under tons of rock comes charging out, and the two of them fight. Oh, you may have noticed that the Triceratops is brought to life using the two guys in a horsey suit method. It's good to know that the Japanese special effects technicians used the same cutting-edge techniques found in elementary school plays for this movie. So they fight for a while, and the T-Rex lays a beat down on the Triceratops.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
The group gets back to camp and finds that the polar boar is gone, meaning they're trapped there. But when the base doesn't hear from them, they'll send a rescue team, right?
No, they won't. I told them that if we weren't back in 5 days, if they didn't hear from us, under no conditions were they to risk one more man or one more life.
Well, that was stupid. Cut to several months later, and Frankie is busy being a domestic goddess, cooking the food that the men bring back to camp and nagging the shit out of them when they don't.
I think it's horrible having to kill each other to survive.
Would you just knock it off? You're the one who's always complaining all the time when we come back from the hunt without any fresh meat. You know, you're beginning to sound like a shrew housewife.
Yeah, you may be a modern woman back home, but not here, baby. By the way, how is it they're all still clean-shaven and their hair is the same length after several months? Did most of their supplies consist of shaving cream?
I'm the one who does all the cooking, and I'm the one who...
Why don't you just shut up, huh?
Why don't you just make me?
Okay, I guess they're in love now. Cave Girl comes back to return Frankie's purse, and they adopt her into their group and name her Hazel. Frankie teaches her how to cook as well as some other valuable survival skills, like how to brush her hair. Wow, truly this is a liberated woman who has broken free of the shackles of our oppressive patriarchal society. You know, if Frankie should show her anything, it should be some good posture. Unfortunately, they get interrupted by, guess who? Okay, let's see. Water T-Rex. Water T-Rex. Oh, T-Rex, good choice. The T-Rex chases her back to their cave, but Maston concocts a clever plan by using some rope... Oh, sorry. Vines, and tying it around a conveniently placed rock. So after that, Maston is more determined than ever to kill the T-Rex. But how's he going to do it without any guns?
The same way it's been done for centuries, with a catapult.
Oh, of course. How silly of me. So in no time at all, they managed to build a huge, fully functioning catapult. Well, you know what they say, when life gives you lemons, build a giant medieval weapon of war and kill a T-Rex with it. You know, I gotta wonder, they're able to whip this up in seemingly no time at all, yet in the time they've been there, they never bothered to build any sort of shelter? After a few months, they probably could have built a fortress with those engineering skills. While out looking for food, Chuck finds the boar in the T-Rex's lair. Well, it's nice that he found it, but how is he going to get it out of there? Okay, how did he move that thing? I didn't skip over a part where they figure out a way to get it out of there. He just finds it, tells everybody he's found it, and then suddenly he's got it at the river. Maybe they built a helicopter out of wood and airlifted it out, I don't know. However, even though they have the boar again, Maston's still against that whole going home thing.
We can camp on the spot. We'll have it launched in a couple of days.
Now! First, we get the dinosaur. Then we talk about leaving.
You know, I'm beginning to think that the guy who decorated the inside of his plane with animal heads might be a little bit obsessive. Chuck wants to leave without Maston, but Frankie tries to convince him to change his mind. After all, he is probably the one who needs to sign her checks for this thing.
I want you to come back with us.
I got a better idea. You stay here with me.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a better idea.
Now you tell me the truth. What's back there for you?
Well, let's see. My family, my friends, my career. Oh, and I left my dog in my apartment, too. Shit, that was 4 months ago. Hope his water dish isn't empty.
Here's where life is. Pure. Simple.
Oh, yeah, simple. Sure, every day would be a brutal struggle for survival, but other than that, I'm sure it'd be paradise. Bunta is out tracking because he's a tracker, when suddenly... Okay, how does no one notice this thing until it's 10 feet away from him? Hell, at this point, I'm convinced it's Sam Fisher inside that T-Rex costume. Alright, there's less than 10 minutes left, let's wrap this thing up. The T-Rex wanders into Maston's trap just like he planned, and he launches the catapult, which leads to... this. I didn't slow that down. The rock clearly dents the T-Rex's head, and the filmmakers actually slow it down so we can see every little detail. But despite having its skull caved in, the T-Rex just gets back up again and keeps coming. I guess having a walnut-sized brain sometimes has its advantages. And apparently Maston has little papaya grenades now. I'll bet those would have come in handy earlier. Frankie and Maston managed to survive the night, or day. It's kind of hard to tell what time it is since the footage keeps going back and forth. And the movie abruptly cuts to several hours later.
Frankie, we have to leave now! There's only enough juice in the batteries for one more run through!
The plot device engines won't hold much longer.
Maston, please, let the dinosaur go. It's the last one.
What? How the hell do you know? We've seen lots of other prehistoric creatures here, and even though I think it's been the same T-Rex the whole time, there's gotta be others, right? But hey, guess what? It turns out the obsessive psychopath who swore an oath to kill the T-Rex doesn't listen to reason and decides to stay behind.
It's the last one.
So am I.
Hey, I get it now. The title and the theme song aren't referring to the T-Rex, they're referring to Maston, one of the last real men left in the world. Perhaps man is truly the real dinosaur. Nah. So there you have it. That's The Last Dinosaur. So in the end, is this movie worth watching? Even when I was a kid and would watch virtually anything as long as it had dinosaurs in it, I still wasn't really the biggest fan of this movie. I think its biggest problem is one of tone. It's too silly to be taken seriously, and it's too serious to be that much fun, so it kind of exists in this weird B-movie gray area. I guess it might be entertaining for children, but I'm guessing that a lot of kids today would probably find it to be too slow-moving. I will say this, though. It does have what is easily the best heartfelt 70s ballad with the word dinosaur in it.
He is the last dinosaur.
Well, that's all for now. Until next time.